name's Tracy. Today we're going to be working on sewing this pouch together. The tutorial will walk you through step by step on how to install a zipper, how to install the lining. We're going to have a fun time. When you end up finished, you'll have this great little pouch. You can use it for little ones' toys, cosmetics. These are great for gifts. It's a perfect little size. So let's get started and have fun sewing together. Thanks. All right, let's go over our pieces. This is what you will need to make your pouch. We will have 2 of our exterior pieces. Here's our pattern. We have 2 interior pieces for the lining. We have some fusible fleece just to give the pouch a little bit of extra body. We have 2 of these little zipper tabs. These are 2 by 2 inches. You can also use your exterior. When you cut this out, just keep these little corners. They will be the edge for our zipper. You will also need a zipper that will be cut to 9.5 inches. Let's start. Next step is the zipper. The zipper itself will be cut down to about 9.5 inches. Make sure you put your zipper pull on there. I've done it so many times where you put the tabs on and then you realize the zipper pull's not there. So put that on. Then we're going to take these little tabs. I'm going to fold it in half. We're going to fold it in half again. That will end up being the little tab. I'm going to go take mine to the iron to press it, just to make sure it stays a little bit more in place when I sew it. We're going to do this right to the other one. I'll be right back once it's ironed. I'm back with my ends. I'm going to slide it on, make sure it goes all the way back. Take a clippy to hold it in place. Do that to the other side. Now when you're sewing this, you're going to sew along the edge, but you need to make sure that you catch both sides. And then don't worry about the sides. We'll be trimming that off. It's just easier to give you a little bit more to hold on to when you're sewing. We're going to go to the sewing machine and sew that right now. I just unclipped it. I'm holding it with my finger. You just need to go really close to the edge, but also making sure that you're getting the underside when you're sewing. And then depending on the type of zipper, you just need to go really slow when you go over the zipper. Maybe you hand crank it so you don't hurt your needle. Looks good on both sides. Now we just got to do it to the other side. Once this is done, trim off your excess. Make sure you don't trim the zipper itself. Now our zipper is ready. Now let's prep our fabric so we can get ready for our zipper. So some people, when they put in an interfacing or a stabilizer, like to put it on the exterior, but I've noticed that if I do that, sometimes it gets a little wrinkly when you turn it inside out. So I've had good luck with putting the stabilizer or fusible fleece on the lining piece. So you're just going to line that up, take it to the iron that on, and do that with the other piece as well. I'm back from the iron. I put on my fusible fleece. It just gives that little thicker look when you make your pouch. The next step is just marking all the centers of each piece. So what I do is I fold it, put a little nip, do that to all the pieces. We will also be marking the zipper, the center, so you might want to move your zipper pull out of the way. We're going to line up the two ends, get as much as we can, fold it close. Now you could mark that with chalk, you could mark it with a pen, whatever you feel works for you. I choose to just take a little cut. That way I know what my centers are when we line it up to the exterior piece. So this is where you're going to put the lining on top, sandwich the zipper in between. So we're going to line up all these little notches. So we have our middle point. Get your handy dandy little clips. Start from the center, work your way out. Now we're just going to sew across. At this point, you're ready to start sewing your zipper in place. I chose to switch out my feet to the zipper foot. Makes it a little easier to get close to the zipper. If you want to use your regular foot, that's fine too. Now, when you get to the part where you can feel the zipper pull, you're just going to put your needle down. Go underneath and you're just going to move it. Now you're ready to start sewing again. I feel my zipper again, so I'm going to keep my foot down and my needle down, move the zipper pull again, and we're going. Make sure you unclip that everything's lined up. See? Got it on both sides. This is all sewn in. We're going to flip that over. And we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Move our little zipper pull out. Line up our notches. Make our little zipper sandwich. Make sure everything's lined up in the center. We're going to clip it all the way across and sew it just like we did on the other side. Now that we've finished both sides, it should look like this. Note your lining is a touch smaller than the exterior, so don't worry about that. It'll all make sense when you put it together. We're going to take this to the iron. We're going to iron it across just to make sure that it lays a little bit flatter, and then we will continue on with the top stitch. I'm going to go iron this and I'll be back. We're back from the iron. Everything is flat. We will now continue with the top stitching here. So when we top stitch this, we're not going to include the lining. We're going to fold it up just like that. So we're only going to sew this piece right along here. We're going to do this on this side, then we'll flip it, do the other side, just to make sure that you're not getting the lining. We got our pouch in here ready to top stitch. Make sure you don't get the lining. We're going to sew 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and make sure when you get to your zipper pull, you can just slide it out of the way so it doesn't make a little bump when you're sewing. You can see our top stitching. Now we're just going to do this on the other side. Make sure again, just the exterior. All finished. Now that we got our top stitching complete, we're going to fold it, the exterior to the exterior and the lining to the lining. We will be sewing around, but first we have to clip it. When we get to this part where the zipper is, we're just going to try to line up those seams to the best of our ability. You get to this side, line up the seams first, and work your way out. Once everything is clipped, we're going to sew along all the flat sides. We're going to leave the corners for now, but when we get to the lining, we're going to leave about a 3-inch opening. So we'll sew right here, we'll sew right here, but we're going to leave that open. That way, that's how we turn it right side out when we're done sewing it. So off to the sewing machine to sew it around. Okay, we're going to start on the lining side since we have to leave that little piece open. Going around with a 3/8 of an inch seam. A little tricky when we get to this spot right here. We just want to line up the two. There might be a little clump, so you just gotta go close. Okay, we have sewn around our pouch. We left an opening here. Now we need to close up the corners. So what you're going to do is you're going to open it up. You're going to make sure this is flat. And you're going to make sure that side is flat. You're going to clip them, and then we're going to sew across. So do that for every corner. Okay, now that we've got all of our corners clipped and ready to sew, we're going to take it to the sewing machine, and we're going to do 3/8 of an inch across, closing up all the corners. And we just got to make sure that our seams are flat and that they match up. When you open them up, that they match together. as we sew, just make sure when we get to the seam part that they match up, because you're going to notice it when you flip the bag. We're just going to do that on all 4 sides. Once we're finished, our corners are now completed. We're going to find our little hole and we're going to turn it inside out. Starting to look like a little pouch. Pop out our corners. We just got to take it to the iron and iron it. Our little opening still here at the bottom. We'll close that up next. But you can see, a little wrinkly, but we got ourselves a pouch. All right, I took it to the iron. I ironed all the wrinkles out. Poked out the corners, make it nice. All of our seams line up. So the only thing left to do is close up this hole. Now there's multiple ways to do that. You're just going to fold the fabric inside, just like this. You could take the sewing machine and just lightly sew along the edge, or if you feel more comfortable hand sewing it, you could do that too. Once you do that, it will be done. And that concludes our zipper pouch.